A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerd's Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
Rob.
Hello, I'm having a good time.
And Phil.
Hi.
And we're having a good time, I guess. So let's get into the game. We are still on our standard story here in Achtung Cthulhu. We're currently in Germany near the, or I guess technically we're in Austria, Germany, somewhere in that area. Near the border of Switzerland, it's about 24 hours march through the woods to the border. Shirley today is not going to be playing Evelyn. You're playing a corporal. So, Corporal Johnson, you are with the group. You've been with the group since they got into Germany. You've kind of been a silent partner until now, but you know it's better to have 3 people than 2 people at a table. So I thought that it'd be okay for you to play another character.
I'm from South Britain.
I'm not sure that's how that works, but you can try again.
Yeah. Hello. You do not need to do an accent. You absolutely don't.
Your Cockney is terrible.
So the first thing we're going to do is, Corporal Johnson, could you do a first aid check on poor William?
Were we still out in the open?
Yeah, but it's going to be easier if he can be up on his feet than if you have to drag him.
Yeah, because if we have to drag him, 94. Nope.
I'm sorry, what was that? Can you roll that again for me?
I'll try my other dice.
Are we taking 10 on this?
94. Oh, God, that's just spooky as all get out. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, look, you got a 12. So
Wait, I want to see what happens with my third set of dice. 80.
Wow.
That's closer.
Look, there's fate at
Roll a
this.
D3.
All right.
Rob, roll a D3, you get healed. You've already healed him, actually, Phil, so what'd you get?
A
2.
deuce.
Oh, look at that. You're up a little, kind of.
You dropped that deuce. You upped that deuce.
That is
Disgusting. So bad I dropped a trace.
No, thank you. Okay, so you are you're in the woods. There are Nazis coming this way. The other party has left, but they knew that William was going to be slowing them down. And William, you're not going to be able to run. It's just not going to happen. Honestly, right now, if you ran and like tripped and fell, you might die. Like, no joke.
I believe that.
So you have to figure out another way out of Germany. And getting captured, probably not the best idea.
Depends on what your goals are.
I think our first action is to leave by trying to make it back to the hiding spot that we had when we first reconvened after the accident.
Okay, so that's going the
It's
opposite
Matt.
direction, though. I'm just letting you know. Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
It's splitting the party, trying to at least give the people who are going towards Switzerland some cover.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so I would need someone to roll their navigate, Shirley.
Yay, I made it.
What'd you get?
56 under 60.
Okay, so you guys are going to take a circuitous... Yeah, mark the box.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that it'll matter, but you never know. You might need a secondary character at some point. You're going to take a circuitous route around the Germans and try and...
Is he Germans?
Yeah. Are you going to leave a trail enough for them to follow? Is the intent to make this obvious but not too obvious?
Shouldn't we, steal their uniforms?
I don't know if we have any uniforms to steal.
Yeah, you ambushed a group of 6.
I figure my uniform got pretty shredded. I don't even think I have my own right now.
Well, I'm
we got
just
shot
if we
one,
look like
twice.
Germans.
Moving towards safety is going to be our first action. It's not a bad idea, but...
Okay.
And then, no, we're not going to intentionally leave a trail, but we're also going to be moving at a speed where we aren't covering our tracks.
Okay, that's fair. So, you guys are headed in a circuitous route away from the Germans and back through the woods and hills and such as quickly as possible for William. William, could you roll a con times 2? Yeah, I know. You're hurt. What'd you get?
79 over 18.
Well, your con is a 9?
Yes.
Ouch.
So he is...
I'm a smart man.
He is definitely slowing you down. There's going to be a point where they're going to catch you at this rate. Yeah, because you're looking at a half day's walk at this rate, at the speed you're going right now, back to where you were, and he's just not even keeping up what you would hope. He's pretty hurt. I mean, probably has things falling out of him at this point. He's been shot up bad enough.
Corporal, go search out a closer hiding location. Look for something very temporary.
Okay. Shirley, can you give me a fieldcraft? That'll work, right? And if this is a 94, you need to get other dice out.
Ooh, 22.
22. Look at that. So you find kind of tucked around on the side of a hill a little cave entrance. It doesn't go very deep in, but it's enough that the 4 of you could hide in there, and it's already kind of covered by some branches. So putting some more up there would make it pretty good, or you could just hide behind it as is, and it probably would cover everything.
Is that camouflage or something?
No, it's just general dressing. Like, don't worry about a skill. There's no skill
okay.
there.
Yeah, I would make sure that nobody could really see it.
Okay, so you bring the other 3 people over there.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys get set up. I would like all of you to roll will times 3. I'm sorry, POW times 3. My bad. All 3 of you. Wow.
I got the 99.
And your POW's pretty good, isn't it?
It's 16.
So at least I have a good reason for failing.
Dude, there are things in fate that are working against me in ways that...
Oh, Cracker Jacks. That would be 84.
Oh, and so none of you made it, right?
Right.
So we're all freaking out?
I was not close at all.
I would like all 3 of you to roll fieldcraft. Or if you don't have fieldcraft, hide. Which, Rob, you may not have fieldcraft.
Pass.
Pass.
Okay.
No.
So as you're kind of holed up in the cave, it's about 15 minutes when you see the first group of Germans, and they're walking slowly, taking in everything. You're all kind of rattled. That's what the failure of the POW was. And nobody's sure who, but somebody starts to shuffle around and make a little bit of noise. There's a rock that hits another rock. Yeah, essentially.
Right.
A couple of Germans kind of break off from the main group, come close to the cave, look and look and look. And just to that point where you feel like they're gonna find you, they turn around and start to head back. How long do you wait before you guys, after you can't see them any longer and you haven't?
A very long time.
Define very long. 20 minutes?
Hour?
3 hours?
We'll go at least 2 hours of no sign. What time of day is it?
It's like mid-afternoon.
It would be a fair assumption that I'm bleeding out, yes?
No, you're stabilized enough. Like, you're going to need some surgery, but you're not, like, bleeding out. They got you packed up pretty good.
Okay.
And you're probably not in pain. You just can't move very well because somebody had
Shock has probably got me.
morphine.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be feeling any better as we start moving you through the Germans.
No. I'm just curious, like, what kind of time constraints we're working within.
Do we know if there are any other wounds on which someone could make a first aid?
That was the last one.
Last one? Okay.
Yep. He's going to have to spend some time in a hospital at this point. And by time, I mean weeks.
If he makes it that far.
So you're waiting 2 hours, you said, from the last contact?
Yes.
Okay. You get about an hour into that time frame, and you see another patrol come by. And you get about another, so you wait from that point again, another 2 hours. You get to the end of that, and it starts to turn dark. Not dark, but you're in the woods, and it's going to get a little twilight. Going to go twilight a little earlier. Do you want to stay here for the night, or do you want to try and move from here?
So first, I know the corporal is the better tracker of the two other people that we have.
Yeah.
Corporal, I'd like you to go on a very limited reconnaissance of the area to see if you can see any German activity around us. See whatever you can learn. Not more than an hour, and then please report back.
Yes, sir.
William, how are you? Are you capable of moving this evening?
I suppose.
Well, I think that moving under cover of night is going to be the safer of our options at this point.
I assume so. I assume it's going to be taxing. But yes.
Well, yeah, certainly at the pace we're going to have to go, I think that getting all of the advantages we can, including cover of darkness, is going to be to our advantage.
Okay, so Corporal Johnson, you reconnoiter the ridge. Can you roll field craft for me? You come out and there's a German firing squad.
Missed it by 6.
Oh, okay. So you get out and you start moving around. Are you going to go kind of up on? How are you reconning the area?
First a little left, then a little right, then a little up, then a little down, then select start.
So how long is the ridge? Like, does it go a fair amount? Like, we're in near the mountains, and it goes for a fair amount of.
You're in the mountains.
I would start along the ridge, and he said an hour.
Yeah, he wants you to be out for no more than an hour.
No more than an hour. It's going to be 15 minutes along the ridge. Then I would go 15 minutes to do straight away from the ridge, and then 15 minutes down.
Okay. Are you going towards
parallel to the ridge, and then 15 minutes back to the ridge?
So you go along the ridge. Are you going to come back towards the way you came from, or away from the way you came from?
Well, the ridge will be blocking my way, so whichever way that...
You can go over the ridge. That's my point. If you're at the top of the ridge, you can go either way.
Since we're looking for a better escape route, I would definitely be checking all of the terrain and the ridge to see where it would be easiest to go over it. So away from...
So you're going away from the way you came?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Give me spot hidden at the top of the ridge.
Good night. Yes. Oh, hey, I made it.
Okay, so you, from the you climb a tree to see if you can see the road, and from where you're at, you can. It's off in the distance, but you can see some vehicles, some clearly German military vehicles moving along. Kind of both directions. You're assuming there's an escort with them of some motorcycles. It looks like troop trucks and motorcycles, but you can't really tell. With the binoculars, you can pick out 2 tanks that are kind of placed in different areas. One near a creek or a river that goes through the road, or goes by the road. Mm-hmm. Kind of watching that, and then the other one up farther north in the direction you're going towards.
Okay.
Essentially, they're guarding the road and keeping.
Well, we're not going to go on the road. That would
to go
just
back
be
to
idiotic.
where you were, you have to cross the road. That's why. I'm letting you know that. So if you're going to go back to your original rendezvous, that's going to be across the road on the other side, and you're going to have to go that way. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, question. Wouldn't we have a secondary rendezvous set up if we weren't able to make the first?
No. This is where you rendezvoused earlier. That was the plan. Blake wanted to go back to where you were rendezvoused the first time after the castle.
Okay.
So to go to that, you have to cross the road.
We're not going to be able to make it there, though.
Why? Because of the people on the road?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair assessment.
Why would we even want to try it with someone as injured as William is?
Because you're trying to draw them away from the people with the information.
My original thought to going back to that original rendezvous point was A, it was in the opposite direction that the people who had to get the information out were going, and B, I knew it as a safe space. When it made clear that we were not going to get to that safe space in time because Limper McLimperson was holding us up, that's when I had you find this other safe spot.
Okay.
So there's no need to continue back to that rendezvous point now. And when you come back, it will probably we can discuss that. Clear. Now we just need to get out of Germany with Limper McLimperson.
Yeah.
So you continue your recon. Can you roll another fieldcraft for me?
2.
Okay. So there comes a point where you kind of you're up in a tree kind of checking things out and looking around. Some Germans do pass underneath you. It's only like 4 guys. Do you speak German? You do. Can you roll your German for me?
8.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they seem frustrated. They're not sure where you went, but they know that somebody else also went south, and they don't know why they're not pursuing the people that went south. Like they've left that group to go. So obviously they're sticking around this area, looking for you. They pass. You give it a couple minutes, and you kind of climb back down the tree and move on. You make your recon. You see some other indications that Germans are around. Not necessarily like you don't see any actual Germans, but you do see like lots of boot marks through the area. They're pretty heavy in this particular area, but as you're getting back towards that end of that hour, it is getting really dark, and you're not hearing as much movement out in the woods or voices either. It's kind of come to an end as far as you can tell. So you can relay as much or as little of that to Blake and William as you'd like.
I would relay all of it and everything that I found.
Okay.
And heard.
Did you see a direction we can head in that would be a balance between the easiest to cross and less patrolled by the Germans? Just
yes,
to get
I
out
did.
Of this area?
I did find a route over the ridge. It would be away from the rendezvous point that you chose, though.
Well, that's okay. I wanted a safe space to rest up and to figure out our next steps. Now we just need to focus on getting out of Germany.
That sounds like a good idea. They're actually not following anybody south. They are focusing their efforts in this area.
Good for them, bad for us. William, can you go up this ridge?
Yeah, you can. You take your time. You can probably go.
And I point out, I'm like, well, I went down this much.
Right. Yeah, you give them an idea.
Yeah.
She's plotted the easiest path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you guys headed out then?
Yeah, I'd like to make some distance this time. I think that somewhat of the idea would be that I think that I'd want the ranger to scout ahead.
Be on point.
Well, even more than on point, like be maybe 10 to 15 minutes ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then, every hour or so come back and check
Definitely.
in, and then kind of try to go out in advance and scout out ahead of us to see, since we don't.
Okay.
Right, so close enough that, we can get back together reasonably quick. Like certainly at the 15-minute pace with the injured William, like if I need to catch up to her, that should be something that I think that I could do in a lot less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, that makes a little more sense. I'm with you now. Okay, so you guys head out. You climb up over the ridge, William. It is the morphine isn't doing everything. Like it's uncomfortable at best. Starting to get a little painful, but you do get up to the top of the ridge, and you descend down.
Are you whining about it?
That's a good question.
Maybe not whining in the sense of whining, but
No, I would grumble like as the pain would hit, as like the sharp pains would hit. I'd be grumbling or like. It wouldn't be a moan, but it'd be like.
But not like. But like.
Right.
Okay, all right. I just want to know. You're playing a professor. You could be all like
whiny.
Dandy is the word he's looking for. Dandy. You could be a dandy.
I don't think I'm a dandy.
Okay.
I didn't ever perceive myself as a dandy.
Okay. So you guys, all three of you, could you give me spots when you get to the top of the ridge?
Got it.
You notice, you can kind of see the road not real well, but you do see one of the troop trucks has stopped, and pulling up next to it is a Kubelwagen with a Nazi flag on one post at the windshield, and on the other post is the symbol of Nachtwolf. And a couple of people get out and start what seems like animatedly shouting at the soldiers that are kind of standing around, not really doing anything. You can't pick up anything of what's being said. It's just obvious that whoever got out of the Kubelwagen is upset that they aren't doing whatever it is they're supposed to be doing.
Are any people getting out of exceptional size?
One of them is exceptionally slender. You would have to guess either female or a very slender, kind of short man.
But not like any of those, giant.
No, you didn't see a giant. No, you don't see a giant. Do you want to stop and use binoculars and kind of try and figure out anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I mean, I would want to make sure that no one's coming this way.
I would just automatically assume that they are coming this way, and we need to get our butts in motion.
Okay, so let's do that.
That's fine. So you guys descend the other side. It's a little easier on the way down. You get headed through the woods, and you do eventually come to a creek. It's September in the mountains. It's not going to be, and by creek I mean it's almost essentially a river. It's wide enough that you're going to have to walk through it, but it's also cold water, and we're talking
waist, chest,
knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deep enough that it's not like, oh, I can just walk through in my boots and my boots will get wet, but that'll be okay. Like this will be up to your knees, and that's going to get in your boots, and that's never a good time. So
not the deepest. How wide? Whatever we're looking to cross right now.
10, 15 feet. 10, 15 feet that you're going to have to be knee deep in. The rest of it, it shallows up pretty quick on the sides. It looks like it's a little deeper than it normally would be. Like maybe some rain has come.
They have dogs, do they not?
Yeah, it's assumed. German Shepherds are called German Shepherds they were very much used by the
My
Reich.
suggestion to you would be that one or two of us, we leave William at the spot we're going to cross, but then you and I would walk in either opposite or the same direction for a certain amount of feet and then come back and then cross. That way the dogs will follow us in either direction, and they won't know where we're going to cross at.
Okay.
Instead of just going to it and crossing, and then they know where we're going to cross, and that'll lead them straight to us.
All right, so sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
William, you go across with
the other soldier.
Other soldier person.
Okay. Tim.
How long does it take us to go 200 feet
No, not any time at
200
all.
feet is not
I
that
would
far.
say if you could go you could run down half a mile and run back in just a couple of minutes.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do that.
Okay.
Are we going different directions?
Yes.
Okay.
So, William, you guys are going to go across. how are you traversing the water? Are you just going to walk? So, William has medicine, correct?
Yes.
This is dirty mountain water. I mean, it's not dirty water by any means, but there's bacteria in it. You
Right.
get any of that in you, you could die. I mean, infection could set in. You could die.
So
quick.
where is my wound? Because we didn't explicitly state.
You have a couple. You got clipped in the leg, probably high thigh. But again, splashing water in there at any point, like getting the bandages wet. That's never very good. The other one's probably like high gut, low chest, but not. It didn't hit any bones, so it's just underneath your rib cage right there, liver area ish. So a little less drinking for you later. But you don't need your whole liver, so that's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Isn't your liver like one of the few things that can regenerate itself
Yeah.
to some degree?
Yeah.
How wide is it?
How wide is the
creek?
Oh, like 10, 15 feet of what you're going to have to walk through. The rest of it's like splashing. You're definitely going to have to walk through it, but it's probably ankle deep at most. It's that 10 or 15 feet that's going to be knee deep.
Is there any fallen debris? Log, trees?
Not in this area, no.
Do you have any oils?
Oils, fat, Vaseline.
I
don't even know what
probably
that was.
have some fat, yeah.
I mean, we could try that.
Just as some sort of barrier.
Right.
Would you like to
Hydrophobic
roll
property.
first aid, or would you like me to roll first aid as the other soldier?
I have picked up my dice.
Okay.
This is going to go bad the way I've been rolling today. Yep.
What'd you get?
95.
You need to change days.
Over what?
Over 30.
Oh, okay. So you smear the fat, lard, whatever it is, over the leg, I assume, and then the chest wound area. You've also been
Well,
nicked
the
somewhere else, but-
bandages.
yeah, over the bandages. Do your best to cover it as best you can, and then go to ahead, just kind of walk across. I need you to roll con times 3.
Do I see them starting to cross, or am I gone now?
You're
Oh,
probably
ooh,
gone.
I got that.
But when you were leaving, he was smearing the fat over the wounds.
No, I was just thinking that if I saw him trying to walk by himself and not,
Oh no,
like,
no, the
arm
other
over
soldier
the thing.
is like walking with him, but that doesn't mean that he won't, lose his footing. What'd you get?
I got it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
The water is cold, and
Oh,
it's
good.
and you can tell that you're weaker than you normally would be, and that cold is excruciating because of that. You know how that you get kind of shaky and then you feel something intense, and it's horrible.
Until you go numb and you feel warm? Yeah.
Well, you aren't going numb.
Not yet.
Nope. So you get across the water relatively easily onto the other side.
No, when you're that cold and you go warm, that's the hypothermia
Yeah,
setting in.
yeah. Yeah. You get over to the other side. The soldier kind of pulls you off away from the water enough so you're kind of hidden but can still see the river. About 15 minutes later, Corporal Johnson and Corporal Blake come across the water at that place as well.
When I'm within eyesight, as I'm coming back of Corporal Johnson, if it looks just as easy to cross there, I will cross there, so it's not the exact same spot that we'll
Okay, yeah,
cross at.
that's fine. Yeah, so you guys all get kind of over to where William and the other soldier are. Can I both have you roll track? I know you probably aren't trained in track, Phil. Don't worry about it. Just roll it.
No.
No.
Okay, that's not a problem. Well, maybe a problem. So you guys get over to the other side. Where are you headed from here? Is the intent to just go south into Switzerland?
You've stated that you did not. I'm sorry, Corporal Johnson. You've stated that the parties have not seemed to have gone south following our other party.
Correct.
So, and this is still. So this was yesterday, but they should be moving a lot faster than this. So yes, I would say that we're going to start heading towards Switzerland.
Okay, that's fine. So you guys travel. How longer do you travel? As long as you can with William until he's too tired to go on.
Is that before or after dawn?
You guys didn't. You slept a little bit the night before. It'd probably be a little bit before dawn, maybe an hour or so before dawn. When William's getting to the point where his grunts are coming much quicker, he's clearly in pain. But if you give him morphine right now, he's going to slow down a ton.
Cave or something.
I would send the two soldiers out to try to spot a hiding space for the day.
Okay. You guys, they find something pretty easily. You guys get holed up there, give William some morphine. He's out for the foreseeable future. No, I mean, he's out for a little bit. Who is setting watch? What's that order looking like?
I'm going to ask one of the soldiers to take first watch. I will take second watch, and the other soldier can take the last watch.
Okay.
I'll take last.
Okay. Do you want them watching from inside the cave? Do you want them like up in a tree away a little bit?
Inside.
Okay. All right.
Unless someone speaks up otherwise.
First watch seems to go by uneventful. You two get okay sleep. Second watch also seems to go by uneventful. The third watch goes by uneventful as well. I assume you guys are just eating rations or whatever you have that's not cookable, or it doesn't need to be cooked. Is that correct?
No fire.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I did make a point to dry out as many things as I could during the time of the
I assume that.
Yeah.
William,
you never know what the keeper assumes, and I don't want to get called on it later.
That's fair. William, can I get you to roll con times 3?
No. 79 over 30. Or 27.
79?
Over 27, yes.
I should really change all those dice, man. You wake up in pain and tired. You ache. You don't think that this is anything more than just being sick, but you can't really tell because none of you are doctors. Well, not that kind of a doctor. Best you can tell, you've been shot a couple of times. You should probably see a doctor. Like you don't feel like anything's worse, but it's just obviously like the strain from all the walking has left you feeling pretty ugh.
Out of character. Rub some dirt in it.
I'm gonna ask Blake or the corporal to see how warm I am.
You have a little bit of a fever.
Yeah, I figured.
But that's not something that
Who do you ask that question?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Blake.
He's hot like the devil.
It's Blake. I'm gonna ask Blake because I know him better.
Okay. Because I think my character would have found it a little odd if you asked the ranger first, unless the ranger just happened to be closer at that moment.
The closest character.
Yeah, he's. You don't have a thermometer, but if you had to guess, he's probably running like a low 99 degree fever. It's nothing.
I do it in centigrade as an Irish person.
Oh yeah, it's whatever that translates into a centigrade. I don't do the centigrades or the millimeters. So you guys wake up for the day. It's probably after lunch, but not. It's going to be a few hours until dark. Do you want to wait for dark or do you want to head out? And by the watches went okay. They didn't see anything, so like there was nothing to be seen.
Okay. Corporal Johnson, do you feel comfortable doing some scouting before we head out today or for the evening?
I would feel better if I scouted before we left.
All right. So whenever you're comfortable to get going on that.
So roll field craft for me.
8.
So you start moving around, or you get out and move around, and you come on a road, which, you knew there was going to be a road near here. You kind of peek out quietly, slowly, very cautiously, looking down both ways. To the north, which is the direction you were coming from, you don't see much of anything. It does bend about 1.5 miles up the road, so something could come up, but you don't see anything. To the south, you see a border post. You count 2 men real quick. You also see 3 motorcycles with sidecars that are empty, like there's nobody in them.
Mm-hmm.
We have an idea of a border to what?
Probably Austria.
Okay.
It would just be. They also have these occasionally between states within Germany. Essentially, this is their way of making sure people aren't using the roads when they're not supposed to. Germany gets really strict all of a sudden.
Well, that's fair. I just wanted to know if we could get a sense of a location or confirmation of where we think we are.
If
we're on the right track.
Roll navigate for me real quick.
And I know I'm not there, but
Yeah,
hopefully
no, that's a good question though. Just, the navigator would have thought about this. Yeah.
98.
Why, we're next to Britain.
It's really strange that Great Britain is right here. No, as best you can tell,
We're right near France.
as best you can tell, you're right where you're supposed to be or close to it. Where you figured in your internal map.
I have
You're about where you're
binoculars.
at.
What do I see?
Give me just a second. With the binoculars, I need you to roll spot hidden.
Yes.
So what you see are 4 men milling about. Roll military doctrine for me.
Yes.
2 of them are wearing the sleeves of the lowest private in the German army. One of them is wearing like a private second grade or whatever, just a tick up, and the other one is a sergeant. None of them are officers, but that doesn't mean anything. This is it's seriously a 1 building wooden shack with a tower, a little bit like a second floor tower, so they can kind of see a little bit farther down the road.
Well, we wouldn't want to take the road, so
but-
would I have not
so-
have found a way through the woods?
Can I finish?
Sure, go ahead.
What you would guess is that the 2 privates or the 3 privates are probably messengers. That's what the bikes are there for. So they're there to be prepped and ready to go in case they need to take a message somewhere.
Okay. I kind of want to take those bikes out. I'll just gather intel and then take it back to the corporal.
All right, you head back to the hiding spot. Can you roll fieldcraft for me?
Maybe. Yes, 26.
So she comes back, or I'm sorry, Johnson comes back, and what do you tell the corporal? Or what do you tell Blake?
I tell him that basically everything was clear until I got to the road, and then I tell him what I found at the shack.
What is the rank of the other soldier? Private. Do you think? So quietly to the corporal, do you think the private should keep an eye on the shack? I want to see when they switch people out and if the number of people at that station changes.
Definitely. And also we might think of maybe they have a patrol out that I didn't see.
Well, so definitely just putting that one person out there, they can hopefully hide better and just keep an eye on it. And that's all I want them to do, and then we can follow up with them later. If we had those bikes, how far from the border are we in terms of time?
That is the border.
That's
No,
the border to
with
Austria. You
with
want to go to
Switzerland.
Switzerland? You're
Oh.
looking at 3-4 hours. And the bikes are going to have, assuming they're not empty, like assuming the tanks aren't empty, if the tanks have what they should have in them, you could get to the border and probably a little bit farther in them. But at the border, you're going to want to ditch the Nazi bikes.
No, we're gonna that's ditch. Yeah. My thought is that if we can take out those people and maybe see if there's fewer people at some point or a better time, perhaps at night, take them out, get the bikes, get to the border, get across the border.
That sounds like a great idea.
So you send the private out?
Just
Yes.
to strictly recon.
Observe and report.
Right.
So he's gonna security guard it.
Yeah, I want to know if they switch guards,
When?
if the numbers of people change, people coming and going, and not like over days, obviously, but just like between now and a little bit after nightfall. Like everyone it was dark, not dusk, not sundown, like dark.
Dark. Okay. All right. So he goes out about 2 hours after dark. He comes back when you expect about the time you expect it. He explains to you that right before dinner there was a change out. All 4 of the men left and went back in. 4 other men came in. They all seemed to be about the same rank ish. The sergeant and 3 privates. And then 2 of the privates walked back to town about 2 hours, or just before he left. Like, just started walking back to town. And you're assuming that he said that he assumes that there's a town not too terribly far. It's close enough to walk to, so maybe a couple of miles, but not too terribly far.
So how many bikes did he leave there?
All 3 of the bikes are still there.
That's just odd. Why would they
Well,
walk
if
back
they're
if
messenger
they have
bikes, then they might not be allowed to use those for their transportation.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were brought out in like a larger Kugelwagen to change out people.
Okay.
So,
All right. So speaking to the whole party, I'm thinking that the private and William, you guys can start making your way out there since it's going to take you a while. Corporal, you and I will go ahead, try to clear that out, and get those bikes, get to the border, get close to the border, ditch the bikes, get across the Swiss border.
okay.
What's entrenching?
It's the entrenching tool is your it's like a shovel. It's like the military shovel that folds up. You can pop it out and tighten
Yeah,
it.
but if I'm remembering correctly from my dad's, when you flip it over, it has 2 prongs on the end.
It's not just that, but the shovel itself has the sides are blades.
Blades,
Like
yeah.
they're sharpened to be blades. You can kill somebody
All
real
right.
easy with it. They're scary, really
Yeah.
scary.
I remember.
Dig holes and kill men.
Private, do you have a knife?
I have my entrenching tool.
Well, you're not the private.
Yes, I want you to have your weapon.
Sir, I have both my combat knife and an entrenching tool.
May I borrow your knife?
Yeah, sure. He takes the whole holster off of his belt and hands it over to you.
Thank you, sir.
It's just a standard combat knife, not anything spectacular. So you, the 2 corporals,
Yes.
the
Corporal and Corporal. It's a new television show.
it's a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys head out there. I need you to both roll fieldcraft.
Oh.
And you know what? That's actually a really great
Yay.
spot
Pass.
to say that'll do us tonight for Masks of Nyarlathotep. We'll talk to you guys next week.
And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter @nerdsdomain, or over at our site nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Schock for our music. Don't forget you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.